What's up, guys? Kyle here, and today we are doing a video on Survivor Series with it coming up fairly soon. And in this video, I'm going to give and share my thoughts on the WarGames style match, right? So here we go now. So when I first started watching, WWE in 2017, it was in I guess you could say it was like the old style where like the main event was like Team SmackDown versus Team Raw. That was like the main selling point of Survivor Series, right? And it was always one of my favorite pay-per-views because it's like you always have a natural story there with SmackDown versus Raw. It's like, who's going to be the better brand this year? You know what I mean? And the thing is, too, it wasn't like you were getting like the best of both those brands. Because, it isn't like that, like the WWE and World Heavyweight Champions are wrestling in those matches. But it's like, you were getting those guys that were in that, they were like in that area between the mid-card and the, like those upper card guys. But they're just not like at the main event yet. So, that was what made those events always good. And you had a natural story there. It having a natural story is gonna, it's gonna come in a little bit later. You'll start to understand why I mentioned this a little bit later in the video here. So that was what it looked like when I started watching WWE in 2017. When I came back to WWE in 2024, I see that they changed the format of Survivor Series to now where it's WarGames. So WarGames is essentially like where there's two rings, they're merged together, and there's a cage around it. So how this works is, every single time I've seen them do it, it's been a 5-on-5 match where one match is with the females and then one match is with the males. And now for the reason why all of you guys tuned into this video, what do I think of the WarGames match? So here's what I'll say about it. The only time the WarGames match has remotely made sense was the times when the Bloodline was in it. And I mention this because the Bloodline wasn't in the 2023 match. And the reason why I'm mentioning, why I've said remotely makes sense is because it's like a coherent team. It's like, it's a faction, it's a team, whatever. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because almost every time they've done this match, it's always been a thrown together team. And you usually do know, obviously, okay, this is the face team, this is the heel team. But I think it always works better when it's an actual team that is not just thrown together. You get what I mean, right? And I know in 2023, the Judgment Day was in the WarGames match, but they had Drew McIntyre on the team. And do we know why they had Drew McIntyre on the team? Nope. I'm sure somebody can say in the comments, but him being on the team didn't matter because he wasn't in the Judgment Day, so it wasn't coherent, right? And this is the problem with the WarGames match, not the match itself. I like the idea of the match itself, obviously. You may think, I don't like stipulation matches, but it turns out I actually do like stipulation matches. It's just, they gotta make sense, And that's something that WWE struggles with a lot nowadays, is having stuff make sense. And, I'm looking at this WarGames match this year, and this one's gotta be the worst one I've ever seen them do. And it's not because of who's in the match, because who's gonna be in this match is actually, these are actually some decent guys here. Besides, the other, most of the team. But, having Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns in the match, I think that, I like that. But the reason why it sucks is because it just doesn't make sense. Why would, in storyline right now, can anybody explain to me why Brock Lesnar would team up with The Vision, and why would Roman Reigns team up with CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, especially CM Punk, because he had a feud with him this year for WrestleMania. So why would he team up with them this year at WarGames? And the thing is, last year, they at least tried to make an attempt to, make it interesting, because when they had CM Punk in the match, he did it as a favor to Paul Heyman, hey, I'll join Roman's team, even though I don't like Roman. I'll join his team, just so I can get this favor from Paul Heyman, which the favor ended up him being in the, fake main event of WrestleMania. And when I say fake main event of WrestleMania, I mean night one main event, right? Because, the night one main events are not the same as the night two main events, is what we believe here. But this year, they've made no attempt to give, like, for example, Brock Lesnar an incentive to just be in this match. Oh, he's just there because, we kind of need him to be there, or else, we won't sell that many tickets to the the Petco Park in San Diego, that's where it's going to be this year. You know what I mean? And on the women's side, it's even worse. And I remember the segment 2 weeks ago on SmackDown. It called this out in the most obvious way possible. So here you have Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley in the ring together. Like, Rhea Ripley's like, hey, join my team or whatever. And Charlotte's like, no, I don't like you, I don't respect you, right? All that stuff. And that brought up a good point, because, she did. Because she was like, why am I going to be on a team with somebody that I've had a beef with, had a feud with in the past? And then I realized something. This War Games thing, this whole thing is not meant to have a storyline with it. Because, quite frankly, it's impossible. And every time they try and do something, it's rushed together and it just doesn't make sense or even work out at all. And on top of that, it doesn't, like, what happens at Survivor Series, whatever happens in the War Games match, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter if, Team Cody or, division win this year, because no matter what's going to happen, things in WWE are still going to be the same. Like, for example, it ain't going to be like this year, oh, well, if division wins, then something's going to happen. No, nothing's going to change, right? And I saw a perfect example of this last year at the Survivor Series WarGames match last year, where it was the Bloodline versus, the fake Bloodline, the Solo Sikoa Bloodline, right? And it's funny because, he's still, parading around that, fake Bloodline, right? Timu Bloodline, some people have called it. I kind of like that term because it's funny, right? You gotta laugh a little bit, right? And the reason why I'm bringing up this match was that, okay, like, right, you'd imagine, right, okay, it's 5-on-5, it's War Games, it's a Big Four PLE, so are they going to end the story here, right? You'd think they would, but nope. So what ended up happening anyways was the Uluwafala thing, the Uluwafala ceremony, that ended up happening on the first Raw on Netflix episode, which was earlier in the year here. So, therefore, whatever happened at Survivor Series didn't matter, because it didn't prove then in the moment, okay, well, Roman's team was better, but it didn't end the storyline. So, therefore, the match was useless and it didn't need to happen. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is, you see how things circle back here, you know what I mean? It's like, every year, this just happens. Like, I remember it used to be like Hell in a Cell, like, oh, it's that time of the year now where Hell in a Cell happens. It's kind of like a holiday, like Christmas is, because, I know Christmas is coming up. I'm sure not everybody wants to hear about that, but Christmas is coming up, so it's like, you know what I mean, though, right? It's like that tradition. It's like, oh, this is when we do this, or, oh, this is when we do that. It's not, oh, let's do this because this certain thing happened, or whatever, right? And that was the point of stipulation matches. The point of stipulation matches were that they happen because of some within storyline. Like, for example, let's say, Mick Foley, right? We know him. He still is the king of hardcore, right? So the stipulation that he would usually get involved in was hardcore matches, right? So if you're facing Mick Foley, that means you want to try and beat somebody that doesn't care about losing a limb, an arm, a finger, a leg, right? You gotta beat somebody, or even try to beat somebody. He doesn't care about himself at all. He'll put himself into danger. It doesn't matter to him. So the point of the hardcore match was to see if you could get through the obstacles that he would throw at you like that. Or even with the steel cage match, right? For example, because I know the War Games match, it happens around a steel cage, right? The reason why you usually would have a steel cage match is because, let's say, for example, like, it's somebody like Roman Reigns, right? Where, like, let's take, like, Bloodline Roman Reigns, OTC Roman Reigns is not the one we're talking about here. The Bloodline Roman Reigns when he was the WWE champion. Bloodline Roman Reigns would win matches by cheating and using, his bloodline members to help him cheat to win. So the point of getting Roman Reigns in a steel cage is to prevent outside things from happening, because it's like you can't really interfere with the match outside. If it, like, for example, like Solo Sikoa can't put Drew McIntyre's leg on the rope because it's behind a cage, right? So that's the point of a steel cage match. The point of a Hell in a Cell match is kind of similar reasons as for a steel cage match. And this works for tag team matches too, right? It's a team going up against another team, right? Right, so now that you know what a stipulation match is, and I guess what a tag team match is too at the same time, now ask yourself, does it matter what the stipulation is about this War Games match? Does the match matter at all in storyline, why it's happening? Does it matter who's in the match, right, and all this stuff? And the answers to all your questions there will be no. And that's exactly the reason, ladies and gentlemen, why I think War Games has been a disaster of a plan for WWE. Not because of the ring itself, the steel cage around the ring, combining two rings together and then putting a steel cage on top of them. It's not because of that. It's because they have failed to build up to the stipulation or give it a reason to happen. And anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this kind of short video, relatively short video, considering the ones I've been making as of late, where I'm like this. If you guys, like the video, of course, the support on, some of these videos as of late has been crazy. So, hopefully some of that success can translate over to these ones, because, I hope, I would like for other people to see these videos too, because, I do put some decent effort into these ones as well. And with all that being said, guys, remember, for the War Games match, funny we're talking about, Bloodline here, remember, we the ones.